It's another math-terrific session in a Tuesday afternoon. Good day, grade 7 learners from the division of Davao de Oro. This is your radio-based instruction in Mathematics 7. I am Teacher Joseph Rizon from Pentucan National High School, your radio teacher for today. To start our learning session, please make sure that you are ready and comfortable wherever you are right now. Let me lend your ears and attention as well so that you can focus in our class through radio. Before we are going to start, kindly prepare your paper, pen, and your mathematics module entitled Mathematics 7, Quarter 3, Module 3, Parallel Lines and Transversals. Now, are you ready to learn, students? Great! Let us learn something new today. Our lesson for today is parallel lines and transversals. And at the end of the session, you are expected to illustrate interior, exterior, alternate interior, alternate exterior, and corresponding angles formed between two lines. Next, you will also determine the angle formed between or when two lines are cut by a transversal lines. You will identify the angles formed between two lines, and lastly, determine the relationship of the angles formed by parallel lines cut by a transversal. Now, are you ready, students? Great! Please go to page 3 of your module and find Let Us Study. Are you now on page 3? Great! As we all know, and as defined in your module, parallel lines are coplanar lines that do not intersect. Take note of the word, do not intersect. While a transversal is a line that intersects two or more other lines at two or more distinct points. To illustrate, please go to the figure. As you observe, there are three lines. Two of it are what we call parallel lines. The parallel lines are the line segment AB and the line segment CD, while the third line segment EF, is what we call the transversal line. On the next figure in the same page number of your module, we have line M as the transversal line of line X and line Y. It is because it intersects these two lines at two distinct points. Take note, a transversal creates different types of angle pairs. To illustrate, let M be transversal of lines X and Y. Exterior angles are the angles between side of a rectilinear figure and adjacent side extended outward, while interior angles are the angles between adjacent sides of a rectilinear figure. To illustrate, now, what are the exterior angles in the figure? The exterior angles are angle 1, angle 2, angle 7, and angle 8. Remember, exterior angles means outside, outward. Next, what are the interior angles in the figure? We have angle 3, angle 4, angle 5, and angle 6. Please differentiate these two angles, interior and exterior angles. Next, let's proceed to the next pair of angles. We have corresponding angles. These are any pair of angles of which is on the same side of one of two lines cut by a transversal and on the same side of the transversal. Now, what are the corresponding angles in the figure? The corresponding angles are angles 1 and 5. We also have angle 4 and angle 8. Next, angle 2 and angle 6. And angle 3 and angle 7. Please take note of these corresponding angles. We have angle 1 and 5, angles 4 and 8, angles 2 and 6, and angles 3 and 7. Next concept, alternate exterior angles. These are the pair of angles that lie on the outer side of two parallel lines, but on either side of the transversal line. While the alternate interior angles are angles formed when two parallel lines or non-parallel lines are intersected by a transversal. To illustrate, the alternate exterior angles in the figure are, we have angle 1 and angle 7. As we all know, angle 1 and angle 7 are both exterior angles. But in this case, these pair of angles are what we call alternate exterior angles. Next pair is angle 2 and angle 8, which are both exterior angles. But in this case, this pair angle 2 and angle 8 is what we call alternate exterior angles. On the other hand, angles 4 and 6 are what we call interior angles. And angles 3 and 5 are also interior angles. But in this case, angle 4 and angle 6 are alternate interior angles. And angle 3 and angle 5 are also alternate interior angles. Next concept is same side exterior angles. These are two angles that are exterior to the parallel lines and on the same side of the transversal lines. While the same side interior angles are two angles that are on the same side of the transversal lines and on the interior of the two lines. To illustrate, using the same figure, pair angles 1 and 8 and pair angles 2 and 7 are what we call the same side exterior angles in the figure. Remember, angles 1, 8, 2, and 7 are what we call exterior angles. But in this case, pair angles 1 and 8, pair angles 2 and 7 are what we call the same side exterior angles. On the other hand, angles 4 and 5, angles 3 and 6 are what we call interior angles. But when we say pair of angles 4 and 5 and pair of angles 3 and 6 are what we call the same side interior angles. Remember, class, when two parallel lines are cut by a transversal line, the corresponding angles are congruent. The alternate exterior angles are also congruent. And the alternate interior angles are congruent. Next, remember, the same side exterior angles are supplementary. When we say supplementary, two angles are added up to 180 degrees. And the same side interior angles are what we call supplementary. This time, please go to page 4 and 5 of your module and find Let Us Practice. And let us practice more and answer the following problems. We will check after the short break. Don't go away, students. We will be right back after this break.
The Radyo Z-eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Hanaway Builders Corporation, Phoenix Corvada Tagum Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, We In Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Vertodazo, Icon Builders and Supply, and Apex Mining Company Incorporated.
And we are back, students. This time, let us check your answers. On the Let Us Practice portion, identify the angles asked in each item. Refer to the figure to answer items A to I. Let's begin with letter A. Identify all the interior angles. We have angles 2, 6, 3, and 7. Great job, students. Again, the interior angles are angle 2, angle 6, angle 3, and angle 7. How about all exterior angles? We have angle 1, angle 5, angle 4, and angle 8. Great! Letter C. Give the 4 pairs of corresponding angles. We have angles 1 and 3. How about angle 5? What is the corresponding angle, or what is the pair of angle 5? We have, great, angle 7. How about angle 2? That's angle 4. And last pair, we have angle 6 and, great, it's angle 8. Let's proceed to the next item, letter D. Give the 2 pairs of alternate interior angles. We have angle 2 and, great, angle 7. And the last pair is angle 3 and angle 6. Great job, students! How about for the letter E item? Give the 2 pairs of the alternate exterior angles. We have angle 1 and angle 8. We also have angle 4 and angle 5. Next, is give the two pairs of the same side exterior angles. We have angle 1 and angle 4. And the next pair is angle 5 and great, it's angle 8. Next item, give the two pairs of the same side interior angles. We have angle 2 and great, it's angle 3. We also have a pair of angle 6 and wow, it's angle 7. Great job, students! Next item, name at least two pairs of angles that are congruent. Remember, there are many pairs of angles that are considered as congruent, but just give us two pairs. Remember, when two parallel lines are cut by a transversal line, the corresponding angles are congruent. The alternate exterior angles are also congruent. And the alternate interior angles are congruent. If you gave corresponding angles, alternate exterior angles, or alternate interior angles, therefore, you are correct because these pair of angles are congruent. Please take note of that, students. And the last item, can you name at least two pairs of angles that are supplementary? Two pair of angles that are supplementary. That means when we add the two angles, it will give us a result or a sum of 180 degrees. What are these two pair of angles? Another thing to remember, class, when two parallel lines are cut by a transversal line, the same side exterior angles are supplementary, and the same side interior angles are also supplementary. When you answered same side exterior angles or same side interior angles, then you are correct on that item. Wow! Great job, students! How about the activity on page 5? Let us practice more. Let's answer letter A, items 1 to 10. Write true if the statement is correct. Otherwise, write false. Please refer to the figure on your module. Number 1. Angle 1 and angle 7 are corresponding angles. Is it true or false? Great, that's false because angle 1 and angle 7 are both exterior angles. Number 2. Angle 2 and angle 6 are corresponding angles. Great, that's true. Angle 2 and angle 6 are corresponding angles. Next, number 3. Angle 4 and angle 6 are alternate interior angles. Is it true or false? Great, that's true because angle 4 and angle 6 are both alternate interior angles. Number 4. Angle 2 and angle 7 are same side exterior angles. Is it true or false? Great, that's true. Angle 2 and angle 7 are same side exterior angles. Number 5. Angle 5 and angle 8 are supplementary. True. Angle 5 and angle 8 are supplementary. Number 6. Angle 4 and angle 5 are supplementary. That's true, because angle 4 and angle 5 are the same side interior angles, which are considered as supplementary. Next item, angle 1 and angle 7 are supplementary. True or false? That's false, because angle 1 and angle 7 are alternate exterior angles, which are congruent and not supplementary. Next item, angle 3 and angle 6 are congruent. Is it true or false? That's false, because angle 3 and angle 6 are same side interior angles, which are supplementary and not congruent. Number 9, angle 2 and angle 6 are congruent. Is it true or false? Great, that's true. And last item, angle 5 and angle 7 are congruent. Is it true or false? Yes, that's true. Amazing, students! Great job! I know you got a perfect score. This time, please go to page 6 of your module and find "Let us practice more" and answer letter B. The instruction is, lines A and B are cut by a transversal C, as you have seen in the figure, and the measure angle 5 is 98 degrees. Therefore, among the angles in the figure, we have a given measure of angle 5, which is 98 degrees. Now, assume that A is parallel to B. Find the measure of all the other angles. Let's begin with the measure of angle 1. We all know that the angle 1 and angle 5 are both corresponding angles. And we also know that the corresponding angles are congruent. If the measure of angle 5 is 98 degrees, therefore, the measure of angle 1 is also 98 degrees. Next is the measure of angle 2. As observed in the figure, angles 1 and 2 are on the same line, which is line A. And we all know that if the two angles are on the same straight line, it will result to 180 degrees. Since the measure of angle 1 is 98 degrees, to make it 180 degrees, the measure of angle 2 is great. It's 82 degrees. Remember, 98 degrees plus 82 degrees, that makes 180 degrees. Next, the measure of angle 3. As observed in the figure, angle 2 and angle 3 are on the transversal line or the line C. We all know that if the two angles are on the same line, on the same straight line, therefore, the two angles will result to 180 degrees. Since angle 2 is 82 degrees, to make it 180 degrees, we will add 98 degrees. Therefore, the measure of angle 3 is 98 degrees. Next, the measure of angle 4. As observed in the figure, angles 1 and 4 are on the same line, which is line C. And we all know that the two angles are on the same line, therefore, they are supplementary. since we all know that angle 1 or the measure of angle 1 is 98 degrees, therefore the measure of angle 4 is 82 degrees. Next, measure of angle 5 is 98 degrees as given. Next is the measure of angle 6. We all know that angle 2 and angle 6 are both corresponding angles. And we also know that the corresponding angles are congruent. If angle 2 or the measure of angle 2 is 82 degrees, therefore the measure of angle 6 is also 82 degrees. Next, the measure of angle 7. We all know that the angle 1 and angle 7 are both alternate exterior angles, and the alternate exterior angles are congruent. If angle 1 is 98 degrees, therefore the measure of angle 7 is also 98 degrees. And the last angle is the measure of angle 8. We all know that angle 2 and angle 8 are alternate exterior angles. And we also know that the alternate exterior angles are both congruent. Since the measure of angle 2 is 82 degrees, therefore the measure of angle 8 is also 82 degrees. This time, please go to page 7 of your module and find let us assess and answer 1 to 5. Don't go away, students. We will be right back after the break time.
The Radyo Z-eskwela program of the Division of Davao de Oro is being brought to you by Nueda Builders Construction and Supply Incorporated, Maverick Builders Incorporated, Mitch Construction and Supply, Archicons Architectural Construction and Supply, DB Construction and Supply, Hanaway Builders Corporation, 𝗶𝗵𝘃𝗃 Gasoline Station, Master Construction and Supplies, Mackenzie Builders, GP&H Construction Incorporated, Metro Gear Construction Corporation, NEN Builders and Development Services Corporation, Max Mays Enterprises Incorporated, We Inc. Construction Company, Rangay Construction and Supply, East Sussex Enterprise, WM Construction, Councilor Boogie and Miss Marjorie Vertodazo, Icon Builders and Supply, and Apex Mining Company Incorporated.
And we are back again, students. This time, we will check and we will assess your understanding. Let us check your answers on the activity I have given to you before the break. Refer to the figure to answer items 1 to 5. Write the letter of your answer on a sheet of paper. Number 1. How many angles are formed when a transversal intersects two parallel lines? Again, how many angles are formed when a transversal intersects two parallel lines? A. 8, B. 4, C. 6, D. 2. The answer is A. 8. Number 2. How many pairs of corresponding angles are there? Again, how many pairs of corresponding angles are there? A. 8, B. 4, C. 6, or D. 2. The answer is B. 4. Number 3. How many pairs of alternate interior angles are there? Again, how many pairs of alternate interior angles are there? A. 8, B. 4, C6, D2? The answer is D2. Number 4. How many pairs of same-side exterior angles are there? Again, how many pairs of same-side exterior angles are there? A. 8, B. 4, C. 6, D. 2. The answer is D. 2. And last item, which of the following angles is congruent to angle B? Again, which of the following angles is congruent to angle B? A. Angle C, B. Angle D, C. Angle A, or D. Angle F? The answer is A. Angle C. Great job, students! This time, let us have a recap. Remember, when two parallel lines are cut by a transversal line, the corresponding angles are congruent. The alternate exterior angles are also congruent, and the alternate interior angles are congruent. Next, the same side exterior angles are supplementary, and the same side interior angles are supplementary. Parallel lines cut by a transversal may not be that obvious to spot in our daily lives, but they play an important role, especially in many fields. Look at some bookshelves or cabinets, the type with 4 vertical legs. It usually has a diagonal piece that connects one point of a leg to a different point in the second leg. This diagonal piece is the transverse piece. This transverse piece provides strength and support for the whole structure. Thank you so much, students, for listening for today's session. I hope you've got something from me. This time, try to continue answering the remaining items in your module. You can ask for help to your Mathematics 7 teacher. Thank you so much, students. Please be safe. God bless. And see you soon. Goodbye!
𝗥𝗶𝘇cije Executive and Technical Working Committee. The school's division superintendent, Euphemia T. Gamutin Seso 5. Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Romel R. Handayan. Curriculum Implementation Division OIC Chief, Dr. Arlene B. Lim. School Governance and Operations Division, Dr. Ruben J. Riponte. Program Director, Dr. Arlene B. Lim. Assistant Program Director, Noemi P. Canales. Members, Cecilia Morales, Dr. Hilda A. Opeña, Dr. Eldecris B. Calzadora, Dr. Dexter A. Siquinia, Nohara O. Pinute, Dr. Grace T. Pontillas, Dr. Renato M. Pakpakin, Dr. Andy P. Cabodok, Juanito Lapiceros, Engineer Norberto S. Manlangit, Ryan Villanueva, Jomar M. Dumupoy, Bob Daylan S. Milabat, Medard D. Apit, and Paz Eugenia Villusino. Technical Working Committee, Production and Communications, Lorely E. Quijano, Given G. Hinampas, Judiland T. Yu, Donna D. T. Bolivar, Mary Rose N. Resma, Riwen C. Manuel, Irene Lea C. Manguhon, and Bessie Aya N. Banyes. Social Media and Packaging Team, Christian Anhara L. Martesio, William R. Lanara, Joan T. Iscoton, Roberto S. Acusar Jr., May B. Istaniol, Richard H. Arellano, Ralph A. Tabanyag, Angelo C. Gutierrez Jr., Jade Karen R. Arais, Eliza May Garsuta, 𝗝cie_𝘲𝗵, and Jane S. Caballero. Sa Radyo Z-eskwela, siguradong masaya. Right and only here at Z Radio 88.5, ang istasyong siguradong lingaw, siguradong kuyaw.